Vanessa here from Little House Living. Today I thought I would finally share with you a tour of our house that we built. We started building this house 2 years ago. I'll be honest, it's not done yet. But the downstairs is mostly done, and so I wanted to show you that today. I know that you've probably seen it in the background of some of my videos before, but I wanted to give you a full tour today so you can see what we did and all of the work, and just kind of share with you the story of this house. Yeah, so without further ado, come on in my house with me and we'll start in the living room. Alright, so we're starting here in the living room, and we kept it pretty simple in here. We've got some couches over here, or a couch actually, and then a couch over there, and you can actually see that they're love seats, they're not couches. We didn't quite have a wall that a couch fit on, so we just decided to go with love seats, and this works for now. I would probably do something else eventually, but yeah, so this is our living room. This room is, I think it's 16 by 24. Everything in our house is in 8-foot increments, and we did that because when we were building, most lumber and sheets of OSB, stuff like that, it all comes in 8-foot increments. So in order to eliminate the largest amount of waste, we decided just to go with that, and it worked out just fine. So all of the wood that you can see in our house, all of the floor, the stairs, the ceiling, everything is from a local sawmill. We, of course, built this house in 2020, and that was when lumber prices were skyrocketing. They are still pretty high, but slightly better now than what they were. So we had to come up with a different solution for the wood, and we wanted something that looked nice and was pretty. So we have a local sawmill that's not too far away from us, and it ended up being really convenient and way cheaper per board foot to buy from them. So it was more work because it's all rough sawn lumber, but we think it's beautiful, and it makes our house unique because it was all cut here and some of it's from here. So the floor is also rough cut lumber. You'll see that we have that through the entire downstairs. That was a pain because we had to sand it all down. I don't even remember how many days it took us to sand it, and then after we sanded it, we put 3 coats of the polyurethane on top of it because you're supposed to do as many coats as you have children. So that's what we did, and it seems to be pretty good. We do need to work on it. It's just we need to fill in the gaps on the floor. We haven't done that yet. We did try to dry out the boards as much as possible when we put them in, but there's still going to be shrinkage no matter what because they were recently cut. So we're going to eventually put something in between the boards. For now, we just have to vacuum it when we want to, which is kind of a pain, but it's very pretty. And I really wanted hardwood floors in the house, but we couldn't afford $5 or $6 or whatever it is now dollars per square foot for hardwood floors from the store. So we went with this, which I'm pretty sure was less than $1 a square foot. And we did not put any stain on it. This is just its natural color. Sorry about the flies. It's fall. They're everywhere. All right, so yeah, so you can see our floor. I have a nice big rug in here. I got that from Costco. My coffee table, I bought, it's Amish made. I bought it in Ohio, and it matches our bookshelf, which is also Amish made. And normally I do not keep the rugs in my house in the summer. They become really filthy. And so I decided to keep this one in here though this year, and I'm regretting that decision. All right, so we're gonna move on this way, and I'm gonna show you the rest of the living room. Okay, so we're just on the other side of the living room. We have a sliding glass door in here. Right now outside is sitting our swamp cooler, and we haven't put it in the wall yet. It should be kind of like mounted in a wall AC, and we're gonna do that over here at some point, but it didn't get mounted, and it flooded here the other day, so we're currently airing out the swamp cooler because it got several inches of really dirty water in it. Anyway, so this sliding door, I had originally put a window in here when we first built the house, and decided that I needed another outside door. So we put that in, and we put a patio out the back, which is not quite done yet, but we finally poured concrete this summer, so we're really excited to have a patio right off of our living room. All right, and then like I said, we've got another love seat over here, and there's a chair that doesn't actually belong there, but we just shoved it in there for now. Like I said, we just shoved that chair in there for now because we took it out of another room. We will have to remove it before winter because it's sitting right next to the fireplace, and it's a little too close. So come on down here. So this is our pellet stove, and this heats our entire house. We bought this at Menards, I think. I love this thing. I researched a lot of different types of heating before we built the house, and we wanted to, we didn't want to have to do duct work throughout the house. It just wasn't our area of expertise. Not that building a house was, but we figured that out. Anyway, so we decided to go with the fireplace. We chose a pellet stove over a wood stove just because they're more efficient. And I did not want to get up in the middle of the night and have to add wood to a wood stove. So at some point we would like to put in a backup wood stove, but we're not sure where it's going to go. So we have this pellet stove, and the cool thing about this one is that in the top, I don't know if there's anything in here right now, but this holds 3 bags of pellets, and so we can stick in 3 bags at one time. 1 bag of pellets is, if we're letting it go continuously on low, that'll last us 1 day. So we can put in 3 days worth of pellets if we're running the stove continuously, which is really awesome. I love not having to fill it. So, and it does heat our whole house. We have some vents in the floor that we put in, kind of like the old-fashioned vents, because the heat rises, and it works really good, and it's a really cheap source of heat, so we really like that. And then you can see these are a couple of my drying racks. I have them sitting here next to the pellet stove because in the winter I put the drying racks up around the stove, so I don't have a dryer. It was just not something that we decided that we wanted in our house. It uses a lot of electricity. So I have a washer, and so in the summer I wash my clothes and then I hang them outside on the line, and in the winter I put these drying racks. I wash the clothes at night before we go to bed, and then I have 2 drying racks. One of them is outside right now. So I set this up around the stove at night, and in the morning all of our clothes are dry. And then this one up here is my favorite. So this is a pull-out one. And this one I do use for clothes also, but in the winter this is the best thing ever for like jackets and snow pants and stuff. The kids come in and they're sopping wet and they're filthy, and we just hang it all up here right next to the fireplace, and it dries, and it's super nice. So we love that. These drying racks I got at Lehman's, and then this one is also Amish made, but it's from a little store in Wyoming actually. So that's where those came from. All right, we're gonna pivot around here, and I'm gonna show you the staircase. So staircase we've never built before, and we wanted to do it as efficiently as possible because we didn't want it to take up a ton of space in the house. So we had looked up and looked into buying spiral staircases because they're just kind of straight up and down, so they don't take very much space. But we ended up building our own. They're very steep. Not as bad as some of the staircases we've had. We had a staircase in one of the old farmhouses that we lived in, and that was really bad. This is not nearly as bad. We made the steps really wide and really big, so they're really easy to walk up. You just kind of have to be a little careful because it's not your standard staircase, but our county does not have building codes, so we could build whatever we want. So anyway, we did that. The wood that is right here, and then on the back of the staircase, that was discount wood. I'm not quite sure. It's not rough cut lumber. It was from another lumber mill that we have locally, and they're no longer doing this, unfortunately, but at the time when we were building our house, they would sell these imperfect boards. So this is like the shiplap siding, and it had knot holes that had been punched out, but all you have to do is cut those out, and the wood was perfectly fine. So we use that for lining our entire hallway and the staircase and stuff, and I think it's really pretty. So that was kind of a unique find. And then this is my railing for my staircase. So we had to put up a railing for our staircase because we are licensed foster parents. And when they came out and told us that, we didn't have anything there. Our kids are just old enough, they know not to jump off the staircase or not to fall off the staircase. But we needed to put something up. I did not want to put like bar railing because I just felt like that was jail. So my husband went out on our property. He found this tree. He sanded it all down, took the bark off, and made us this beautiful railing for our staircase. And we think it fits really well in here. So anyway, so that is our staircase. And then I have actually shown you this area before that's underneath the stairs. This is where I keep my canned goods that don't fit in the pantry. It works really good because it's really nice and cool underneath there. So before we move into the kitchen, I just want to give you a little bit of history on what we did here. So some of you have seen my video of what we moved into here. I'm pretty sure that there's images of what was here, and I will link that above, so you can check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But so we bought this piece of property because it was really cheap. We moved back to the Black Hills in 2020 after doing an internship, and it was right before prices started getting really high, but prices in the Black Hills are just really high in general. So we needed something really cheap. This place came up in a search. There wasn't really a house here. It was, they were mostly selling it for the land, which was 20 acres. We thought the land was really beautiful. We did not like the structure that was here. So the area that I'm standing now, the living room, used to be a large yurt, which I have no problem with whatsoever. I think they're really cool. But the yurt that was here was, when we were kind of taking it down, it was full of mold on the top. So they hadn't taken very good care of it, or just didn't know how to vent it in the winter. So anyway, that's what was here in this space. And then where I have our fireplace and where this is, was kind of like a little walkway going into this next section. And so over here was this very crude pantry, and over here you walked down, and there was a lot of mold, and there was a washer down there in that area. So obviously we ripped everything out of here. We tore the yurt down. We were able to salvage the frame, which we ended up selling, which helped a little bit. And then the rest of it was just yucky. We had to throw away the covering and everything because it was full of mold and mildew. But anyway, that's what was here. And then this next section, that's my kitchen. There was a structure there attached to the yurt. It was a huge 2-story, and huge, by huge, I mean super tall, 2-story thing. And it was unfinished. There was kind of a crude kitchen in the bottom part, and then upstairs there was a very, very tall ladder that went upstairs, and there was a very unfinished bedroom up there. So that's what consisted here before we built, I'm not sure how you want to say it, but before we bought the place. So yeah, this was the kitchen. Nothing of the original kitchen remains. It was not something that I wanted to use. So we tore the whole thing out, and the kitchen actually did have sheetrock in the walls, but we tore that all out to be able to get all the insulation out. The building was quite exposed, and so I was afraid there was going to be a lot of bugs in there. So we pulled everything out, gutted the whole thing, and then redid the kitchen, and I'll show you my kitchen now. Okay, so it's pretty bright in here, so I'm not sure what you can see. So the original kitchen had everything designed differently than I have in here. So anyway, we did it all different, and I love it. I got to design this kitchen based off of what my needs as a cook are. And even though we've redone kitchens before in the houses that we've lived in and remodeled and stuff, I've never gotten to do one completely from scratch. So this was super fun for me. It is an ever-evolving project. I have repainted this kitchen 3 times, and we lived here for 2 years. I'm gonna try to leave it white now, but no promises. So anyway, so over here we have, this is the sink area. I have always wanted one of these big, huge single basin with the washboard sinks. So I got myself one of those. And I absolutely love it. I can't imagine a smaller sink because of the stuff that I bring in here and wash. Anyway, so we did the big sink, and then I did not want any closed cupboards. I wanted it to feel super open in here, and so I had my husband build all of these shelves, and then I just found these baskets that fit in it. I don't know if it's a permanent solution. I may change it at some point, but for now it works just fine, and I can easily fit all of my kitchen stuff in here. So yeah, so the ones over here are kind of a mess right now. They have potatoes and onions. I keep those usually in the root cellar in the winter, but then I have a little bit in here so I don't have to go out there to just grab an onion or something. And since it's not winter yet, I don't have any of that in the root cellar. I just have it in here. So that's what I use those for. And then underneath the sink, I keep my dish drainer, and then our chicken bucket, and we have a water bucket under there, which I use just to fill whatever I need to fill. And then over here is where I have, this is actually my kitchen stuff. So I've got kitchen towels, kitchen rags. There's nothing in that one. And then I've got, that's like all of my cooking utensils and stuff. So it works good for me. And then over here, this is where I keep all my stainless steel bowls. I have some more mixing bowls too. And then normally that's where my Instant Pot / crock pot goes, but it's currently in use. So and then I have this big beautiful bay window in here, which you can't see because it's too bright. But that window was actually here. I really loved it, and so I wanted to be able to incorporate it in the kitchen. It was just kind of off in its own little corner over here, but that's where I wanted to put the sink. Currently in the bay window, I have all the starts for my hydroponics, which are going to go in today. But it works really good for that. It gets really nice southern sun in the winter, well, all year round. But in the winter, it's really nice because it warms it up in here. Not so much in the summer. I need to get a shade in there. Just hasn't been done yet. All right, in this corner we have a door that goes out to a deck. You can see one of my previous paint colors here. That's going away, and then our trash can. And then this is the third stove that I've had in here in the last 2 years, unfortunately. The first stove I bought, I thought I could get by with the cheapest stove that they had, and that was a mistake. So we got rid of that stove, and then I bought this huge 48-inch stove, which I was so excited for, and it was a piece of garbage. So we had to send that back. Thankfully, it was still under warranty. And then I went into the store, and if you have bought any appliances in the last couple of years, you know that they're difficult to come by. So I went into the appliance store and I said, what do you have in stock? This is what they had. So works fine. We're making it work just fine. I've been caning. So my caner is out here right now. And then I do have another little shelf over here with some mess. That's a nice place to put my spoons. And then I do have my cooking utensils, like the spatulas and stuff that I use all the time when I'm using the stove. So those are right next to the stove, super handy. And then I did get my tile backsplash up here, but have no hood vent yet. We have it, it's just not there. All right, so let's go over here. So like I said, my Instant Pot is currently in use, or almost going to be in use. I'm currently roasting some chicken and I'm gonna make some broth. This is my canning from yesterday. Down here, this is where I have all of my upright pans and like muffin trays and stuff like that. And then over here, I keep my Dutch ovens and then like my 9x13s and like bigger stuff. And then this one is just for my blender. I have this really nice countertop here when it's not covered in canning jars. We decided to hang all of my cast iron because it was just stacked down here. So this works much better. And then we just put these shelves up, and that's my mixing bowls. And then above that, I have some baskets that I use for muffins and proofing sourdough bread. So that is the other corner of my kitchen. And then I have a fridge. I actually had a lot smaller fridge in here. We had like an apartment size one, and I was really trying to make that work because I wanted something that just used less electricity. But we're a family of 5 and the apartment size fridge just didn't work. So I bought this one, which is really nice. All right, so next to the fridge, we just put this fridge in sometime this spring, and I thought the side was ugly. So I had my husband build me this shelf, and I really like it. This is where all my spices go. And then I do have some other things on here, some popcorn, some dried goods, some more dried goods and stuff up here. And super handy to have that in the kitchen versus in the pantry. So I really like that, and we don't have to look at the side of the fridge. So then next to it is my pantry. You guys have already seen in there. If you haven't, there's a peek. Those are some of my canned goods on this side. Other side is not my canned goods. This is the side with the shelf so the canned goods can't fall off. So that's where I keep the canned goods that I use on a regular basis, so I don't have to go dig in there. All right, we're gonna swing around. So here's the door to the pantry. And then over here, this is what I call my mixing station. So I have my mixer here. I've got my measuring cups right next to it. And then down here I have like my bulk stuff that I use to make breads or muffins or whatever. We've got chocolate chips and all of my cookbooks. So this is just really handy station. I wanted something where I could set my bowl on here or use my mixer and just mix up everything that I need, and then take it into the rest of the kitchen and finish it up. But works really good. I like it. My husband built it. It's pretty. And then the kids keep their cups here because this is where our Berkey sits. So this is our Berkey, and we put it here because I didn't really feel like I had a spot for it in the kitchen. And then my husband was like, hey, what if I make you a pot filler for your Berkey? I love it. I no longer have to try to get the big, huge bucket up here to fill up the Berkey. And this is the biggest Berkey that they have. We really like it because we filter all the water that we use for drinking and for cooking because we have a cistern. So anyway, the pot filler is like my favorite thing in the whole kitchen. All right, I'm going to turn you around and we are going to go into the dining room now. Okay, so here's the Berkey, and this is my dining room. We just finished the dining room last year, so we went a year without having a dining room and just eating in the living room. But good things take time. So before we run in there, I should show you the ceiling in here. So the ceiling in my kitchen is 13 feet high, which is absolutely ridiculous. But if you remember from earlier, this is the part of the house that we gutted, but we didn't redo the kitchen, not the dining room. This was added on. So I did not build these 13-foot ceilings, but they're here, so we're gonna make it work. So the ceiling in here is the same as what we have in the living room. We just kind of tried to copy it, and then we also copied it for the dining room too. Like I said, it's 13 feet up there, and this right here used to be where the ladder came down to go upstairs. When we came and looked at this place, I refused to go up that ladder. So we built this. I'm gonna see if we can see this. So my husband built this beautiful doorway to go into the dining room, and I love it. I think it's so pretty. I love that when you get to build your own house, you get to customize it into what you think is beautiful. So yeah, so he built that, and then there was nothing here before. There was a door to the outside off of this structure thing that was here, but otherwise it just went nowhere. So we added this on. All right. So I have my big table in here. We've had this table for quite a while. My husband built it a couple years ago, and we like it. It's really big. And then right over here, let's start at this wall. All right, so I'm currently organizing the kids' school stuff. We're starting school this week, and this is my new system. So we're gonna see if that works out or not. Yeah. Right now I have it next to this piece. I really like this cabinet, and it's where we store our plates and stuff, but it's really old and not super functional. The doors don't shut. So I think we're gonna take it out, and I'm gonna put something else here for our plates, but it's very pretty, and I am going to use it somewhere else. Sorry about that, I was burning my chicken. All right, so yeah, so right now we do keep our plates and stuff all in here, but like I said, the doors don't actually shut all the way, and so it's really hard for the kids to do stuff. So I'm gonna see if maybe my husband will build some kind of more functional plate system for us, but we keep plates, silverware, and then it's just empty in the bottom, so it's kind of a waste of space at the moment. And then this is an old piece of countertop from our kitchen. Before we added the third stove or something, it used to have a slightly different layout with less countertop. And so when we redid it and really figured out how it could be, we needed to take out a piece of countertop. So that's currently sitting right there. I don't know why. I'm sure we'll do something with it. But, and I should have mentioned, we did make all the countertops and the cabinets in the kitchen ourselves. We just used butcher block, and we used epoxy on the top. And then the cabinets is just wood that we painted. So way cheaper. I got a quote, I think, from Lowe's for doing our kitchen. And remember, I have no uppers in my kitchen. It's only those few lower cabinets. And so not including like the mixing station or anything, it was over $15,000 for me to put a halfway decent cabinet that wasn't particle board in the kitchen, and I didn't have that kind of money. Still don't. So anyway, we went the less expensive but still really pretty way. So anyway, my table is here, and then we have some more double doors that go out to our brand new deck that we just built this summer. Before these just went to nowhere. So that's really nice. This room is super bright and super light, which is so nice. It's so pretty, and it actually overlooks the garden and like I said, goes out to the deck. It's a beautiful room. And then we put in these oil lamps. I actually don't have any overhead lighting in here yet. It may change at some point, but it hasn't yet. So that's what we're doing for the moment. They're not very bright. They don't work very good. All right, let's go over to this side. So this room is 16 by 16, same size as the kitchen. And it was originally supposed to be the dining room and a bathroom because I just have a bathroom upstairs. When we were designing what we wanted this room to look like last year, I realized that there was no space for a bathroom if I wanted to fit my table in here. So I just have one bathroom. We are hoping at some point in the future soon I will be able to add a bathroom onto this room. But yeah, that's what it was supposed to be originally. So instead of the bathroom, we added this gas parlor stove in here. It's so pretty. It is not like, we got it as a backup source that was not wood, and it will run without any electricity if we need it to. It's really nice in the morning. Since we just finished this room last year, we just got this last year. So I've only used it for one winter, but what's really nice in the morning is I get up early and then I come down here and I turn this stove on and it heats up this dining room. And by the time the kids come down here for breakfast and for school, it's really nice and cozy down here. So we really like that. And we usually keep it going most of the day in the winter. And then we just turn it off at night because otherwise it gets too warm. Ignore the big open hole. We were going to put a wood stove in here. Just changed our minds on that, and so this was going to be the wood box and where that was going to go. So we just need to get a door and cover that up. So this shelf unit is where the bathroom was supposed to be. And obviously it's not as big as a bathroom was, but when I realized that I couldn't have a bathroom and there was no room for it in here, I was like, well, the one thing that the bathroom downstairs was going to have was a large like linen closet to be able to store things in, because I don't have that anywhere else in the house. So I asked my husband and his brother, who was helping us that week, if we could build some kind of like wall cabinet, and I kind of wanted it to look a little different, a little old-fashioned, and this is what they came up with. It goes all the way to the ceiling and all the way to the floor. And I have that filled with everything from school books to toilet paper. It is our multi-purpose closet in our house, but it works really good, and I'm very thankful that I have it even instead of a bathroom, because I really did need that space for storing things kind of out of sight. Our entire house actually isn't that big, so I did need that to be able to put some of those things in. I didn't have anywhere else to put. So that is a tour of our downstairs. And upstairs, just bedrooms and the bathroom. It's not quite done yet, so I don't know when it'll be done. It's fine. This is what happens when you build your own house. It takes forever. But that's okay. Like, we have built this house with cash, which in my mind at the beginning seemed like an impossible task to do. We did start with some that we had in savings, and then we ran out of that. So now it's just month by month, and after 2 years, over 2 years, most of it is done. We still, like I said, the upstairs is not quite finished yet. There's a couple sections that aren't done, doesn't have trim, whatever. But the downstairs is mostly done finally. And so it's a really good feeling, even though it's taken a lot of time. I see a lot of videos, especially on YouTube, about how somebody built this big house or built their entire homestead in 6 months or in a year, and it's just not realistic, especially if you're trying to do it on a budget like we did. But you know, maybe they had more of a savings account than I did. So anyway, this is what we've done, and we're pretty proud of our work. We've never built a house before. We have remodeled multiple homes, and my husband has done home repair and stuff like that, but still, like, doing an entire house of plumbing from scratch, that was all new for us. So YouTube is your friend with stuff like that. But we figured it out, and we have a really cozy house that our family absolutely loves. At this point, I cannot imagine living anywhere else because we built this house for us. And it's really special to us. Every little touch, everything from the floors, when I look at them, I think about all those days on hands and knees and sanding them down and waiting for them to dry from the poly so we could even step on them and go to the next step. And just every little piece of the house has our hands all over it. But yeah, and I should mention though, that was possible where we live. We specifically chose land in this county because there's no building codes. All we had to do was get a permit, which I think costs like $100. We just went up to the county, we gave them a rough sketch of what we thought we were gonna build and the size, and paid our permit, and that was it. They did finally just come out a couple weeks ago and see if we were done with it yet. So anyway, that's all they do here. But that helped us save a ton of money because we didn't have to have any contractors. This was just me and my husband with occasional help from a few friends or family. But yeah, it was just us pushing these walls up and trying not to get the kids in the way, and it was a fun experience, but not one that I want to do again right now. That was enough work for a while, and it's not done yet. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed our tour today. I've been wanting to show you our house for a long time because, like I said, we're really proud of the work that we did. And I don't say that very often. I don't like to brag on stuff, but this was a lot of work and we think it turned out really well. And it's pretty cool that we could build our own home with our own two hands. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys